Picture this. A boy from a small village grows up to control the fate of world football, Caribbean politics, and millions of dollars, all at the same time. He's either a genius strategist or the biggest hustler FIFA ever produced. His name? Austin Jack Warner. The man who put Trinidad on the World Cup stage, and in the same breath, ended up on America's most wanted list. This is the untold, jaw-dropping story of Jack Warner, kingmaker, dealmaker, and maybe, just maybe troublemaker. Before we dive in, hit subscribe, smash that like, and drop a comment. Is Jack Warner a patriot or a villain? I'm curious to see where you stand. Jack Warner's story doesn't start in power, money, or FIFA. It starts in Rio Claro, a quiet rural town in South Trinidad, where he was born on January 26, 1943. One of 6 children raised almost single-handedly by his mother Stella, young Warner's life was modest, strict, and shaped by discipline. But even back then, Warner wasn't just the kind of boy who wanted to play the game. He wanted to organize it, to control it. Education was his ticket out. First presentation college, then teachers training college, then a degree at the University of the West Indies. He even earned a diploma in international relations, a hint of the global ambitions that would come later. But his nickname? That came earlier. At school, a teacher once called him a jackass. His classmates never let it go. They called him Jack, a name that stuck and would soon become infamous worldwide. By the 1970s, Warner was teaching history, lecturing in sociology, shaping young minds in the classroom. But Trinidadians would soon realize Jack Warner didn't just join organizations. He took them over. And in football, his true passion, that ambition became unstoppable. By the late 1960s, Warner was no longer just coaching school teams. He was climbing through the ranks of football administration at dizzying speed, maneuvering behind the scenes, and rewriting the rules of the game to suit himself. Because Jack Warner's rise wasn't just about football. It was about power. Warner's big break came in 1983 when he became president of CONCACAF, the governing body for football in North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. At the time, CONCACAF was weak, broke, and ignored. But Jack Warner saw opportunity. He turned the office into a powerhouse, demanding respect from FIFA headquarters in Zurich. And in 1990, he joined FIFA's executive committee, putting Trinidad on the global football map. Under Warner, Caribbean nations, tiny islands often ignored in world sports, suddenly had clout. He controlled 35 voting nations within FIFA, a bloc so powerful that World Cup hosts and FIFA presidents courted him like royalty. To some, Warner was a visionary, forcing the world to respect the Caribbean. To others, he was a shakedown artist, selling votes for personal gain. The rumors grew louder when South Africa's successful 2010 World Cup bid was linked to millions in development funds routed through Warner's channels. Warner shrugged, saying South Africa got their World Cup, the Caribbean got its stadiums. Everybody's happy. It was the kind of answer that made people wonder, was this man a Robin Hood or just robbing the neighborhood? Trinidad and Tobago's proudest football moment came in 2006, when the Soca Warriors qualified for the World Cup in Germany. For a nation of barely 1.4 million, it was like David entering the Colosseum. And who was at the center of it all? Jack Warner. He rallied resources, pulled strings, and turned the impossible into reality. The Soca Warriors faced England, Sweden, Paraguay, giants of the game. And though they didn't win a match, their grit won the world's respect. But the fairy tale quickly soured. Players accused Warner of pocketing profits from ticket sales and World Cup bonuses. Imagine qualifying for the biggest stage of your life and then fighting your own football boss for your paycheck. As one player said, we felt like we had to dribble Warner harder than we dribbled Beckham. By 2011, the walls were closing in. Investigative journalists uncovered a trail of payments, shell companies, and missing millions. Warner resigned from FIFA, hoping to escape the storm. But then came 2015, the year FIFA exploded. Swiss police, on behalf of the FBI, raided FIFA executives in Zurich. Indictments flew like red cards, and Warner's name was front and center. The U.S. charged him with wire fraud, racketeering, and money laundering involving more than $50 million. Warner denied it all, insisting he was a victim of a U.S. plot to control football. At rallies in Trinidad, he waved the charges like confetti, claiming, "If I have to die, I will die with my boots on." The extradition fight continues to this day. Jack Warner is technically a wanted man in the United States, but in Trinidad, he lives free, still drawing crowds whenever he speaks. Warner wasn't content with football alone. He wanted political power. He joined the UNC United National Congress, rising to become MP for Chaguanas West, and even serving as a government minister under Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Warner was a master of mobilizing the grassroots. In his constituency, he was loved, handing out jobs, fixing roads, even paying school fees. People said, "Jack might thief, but Jack does share." But when the FIFA heat got too hot, the UNC cut ties. Warner, never one to bow out quietly, formed his own party in 2013, the Independent Liberal Party, ILP. Shockingly, he won re-election in Chaguanas West, proving his personal popularity. Long-term, though, the ILP fizzled. Warner became politically homeless, sometimes hinting at support for the PNM, but always bashing the UNC. His political career became as unpredictable as a penalty shootout, thrilling, chaotic, and always controversial. Behind the headlines, Warner's personal life adds more layers. He is married to Maureen Warner and has 3 sons, Darien, Daryl, and Darien. His children have faced their own legal troubles abroad, often tied to the FIFA fallout. A devout Catholic, Warner often framed his battles in biblical terms, painting himself as David against Goliath. As for net worth, estimates vary wildly. At his peak, Warner was believed to control tens of millions, with real estate in Trinidad, Miami, and beyond. The FBI alleges he laundered over $50 million. But in recent years, he's claimed financial hardship, even saying he can't afford medical bills. Yet anyone passing through Chaguanas can still see Warner's influence, property, businesses, and loyal supporters who remember the man who brought the Soca Warriors to the world stage. So how do we judge Jack Warner? To his fans, he is the ultimate hustler in the best sense. A man from a small island who bent the giants of FIFA to respect the Caribbean. Without him, Trinidad would never have reached a World Cup. Without him, CONCACAF would never have had a seat at football's high table. To his critics, he is proof that corruption knows no borders. They see a man who turned passion into profiteering, who used politics as insurance against prosecution, who stained Trinidad's name on the global stage. Even today, years after leaving FIFA, Jack Warner remains one of the most polarizing men alive. Loved in his community, despised abroad. A political chameleon, a football kingmaker, and a man who never apologized for hustling the system. Jack Warner, to some, the man who gave Trinidad its proudest footballing moment. To others, the man who gave the FBI its juiciest football case. He is the riddle wrapped in the Caribbean. Loved, hated, admired, despised, but never ignored. So tell me, when the history books are written, will Jack Warner be remembered as the Caribbean's ultimate hustler, or its boldest patriot? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Caribbean stories the world needs to hear. Thanks for watching.